So welcome to the therapeutic class this morning. Our focus this week is on the breath, but in particular on the feeling of the breath around the chest and the rib cage area and the idea of expansion. So our lungs are literally housed in our upper chest, come right up into the area under the collarbones and down to the diaphragm, which is sort of in this area here. So it attaches in the bottom of your ribs and kind of domes up into your up towards your lungs. And every time you breathe, as you inhale, the lungs fill, the diaphragm opens and presses down, and then it domes back up again as you exhale. So as your lungs expand, this diaphragm pushes down, and because it's attached all around your rib cage, there's this expansion in the rib cage as you breathe as well. The breath is actually really, really fascinating. We're going to focus on creating some space in this area. This is the area of the heart. The element of the heart is air, which makes sense because it's sort of encapsulated in the lungs there. And the idea of creating some spaciousness. So the idea of when we feel stressed, we feel compressed. Like the word is dukkha, or lack of space, or constricted space in Sanskrit. And the word for ease or openness is sukha, which is the opposite. It means expanded space. So when we want to feel more vitality, more energy, we don't want to feel cramped down and kind of squeezed in. We want to feel this sense of expansion. And when things feel good for us, we feel that naturally. But we can also induce that state working with the breath and some movements that open up that area. So if you have issues with your shoulders or pain in your upper body, just really gently today, as always, listening to your body. And if something doesn't feel good, don't go there. And we're going to start seated. So I have a chair here. You can sit in a chair yourself, or you can sit on the floor, whatever is comfortable for you. Coming to a comfortable seat. Feel your sit bones on your chair and take a moment to settle. Get cozy in your space, get comfortable. Feet can be flat on the floor. If you're sitting on the ground, you can have your legs stretched out, or you can be cross-legged, whatever is comfortable for you. So we're going to take a moment to begin with and just really feel the breath. So most of what we're doing in breath practice is not manipulating the breath in any way, but really becoming aware of the breath and feeling its movement in the body. So most of us can feel the breath, somewhere in the front of the body. So I invite you to, if you like, close your eyes. You can do this with eyes open as well. I find it a little easier to go inward if I close my eyes. See if you can tune into the front of your body, anywhere sort of from your throat right down to your belly, and where you feel and notice breath. You might feel it up in the rib cage where your lungs are actually situated, but you might feel some movement in your belly as well as the diaphragm presses down and the abdominal organs shift a little. So know that there is no right or wrong way to feel the breath. It's just tuning into what's present for you. So feeling the front of your body. Get curious about what you notice, where you feel movement. This is, of course, also a way of bringing our attention to the present moment, just like watching the sensations of the body that we focused on last week. When we tune into the breath, we're always tuned into this moment, this breath. And now try shifting your attention to the back of your body. So anywhere in the back of the body, anywhere from the neck to the lower back to the back of the pelvis area, and just notice, do you feel any movement of your breath in the back of your body? So again, no right or wrong answer, and if you don't feel much, that's actually really normal as well. So you're just going to notice that that's the case and be curious about that. Okay, and then letting that go, I invite you to tune into the sides of your body from your armpits down to your hips. And as you breathe, notice any movement that you're aware of in the sides of your body. You may also be aware of movement in the front or back, but letting your attention shift to the sides of your body now. So again, there's no right or wrong. We're not looking for anything in particular here, just noticing what's present. And we're going to spend our time today really focusing on the upper body and creating some space through some gentle stretching and allowing a bit more space for the breath to move naturally. So the breath just moves into the space that's there. If we're constricted, the breath is constricted. If we have a little more space, then the breath can have a little more space as well. So that cat-cow movement that we often start with, we're going to start there with our movement today. And again, with that idea of feeling the breath in the front of the body as we extend and lift the heart. Feeling the breath all the way down, and then exhaling as you round your back, feeling the space in the back of your body and a little contraction drawing in the front. So inhale here, and then exhale, rounding. So we'll do this a few times, and then we're going to shift it a little bit today. So when we do things always the same way, it's really easy to get into a bit of a rut and not pay so much attention. So let's come back to a neutral spine. And what we'll do now is we will inhale when we're stationary and exhale when we're moving. So we're going to inhale and lift the heart. Exhale, move, rounding the back, stay there. Inhale into the back of the body. Exhale as you move to extend. Inhale here. Exhale, moving. Inhale here. Exhale, move. And as long as that feels comfortable for you, continue a few more rounds. Really tune into the feeling of inhale in the front of the body and then inhale in the back of the body. If you feel at all dizzy or lightheaded, just come back to normal breathing. That's often just a little hyperventilation when we're breathing a little more deeply than normal. So you're exhaling when you're moving, inhaling in each position a couple more rounds. Let your exhale be where you finish, so you're rounding. So you'll inhale in that rounded position, and then you'll exhale back to a neutral position. And always, if the breath is confusing and it sort of creates tension or anxiety to work with the breath in any way that doesn't feel at all natural to you, just breathe normally, do the movements, and you'll still get the benefit of the practice. Right, so let's work a little bit with a side bend now. So we'll open up the sides of the body. So if you're in a chair, you want to really make sure that you're stable. So you can take the feet a little wider apart so that you've got a good base of support. And you want to keep your sit bones anchored. So you're not lifting up as you go to the side, but thinking about coming up through the sides of the torso while keeping the sit bones anchored. So you can let your hands come down to your sides. If you're on the floor, then your fingertips might just rest on the ground. We'll lift one arm up, breathing in. And then as you exhale, reach up and over. As you inhale, come to the center and switch arms. And then exhale, reach over. You can hold your chair if that's helpful as you go to the side, or bring your hand to brace on the floor. So you're inhaling and switching, exhaling to the side. Inhale, switch. Exhale to the side. Inhale, switch. Exhale. Make sure you're going at your own pace. So if my breath feels like a different pace from your natural breath, follow your own breath. Right. And then let's come back to the center. Right. And again, we're going to switch up the breath a little bit. So inhale here. Good. Exhale, lift one arm. Good. And as you reach up, inhale into that long side. Good. Exhale back to center. Inhale, release. Good. Let's take a breath here. Good. Breathing in, and then exhale, lift the arm. Inhale, think about lifting up and breathing into that side. Exhale here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Great. Let's take a breath in here. Good. Exhale, lift the arm. Inhale, reach up. Exhale over to the side. And let's stay for a breath or two. If it feels like too much for you, always just return to center. And you can come up with an inhale. Exhale to release. We'll inhale in the center. Exhale, lift the arm. Inhale, reach up and a little bit over. And then we'll take a couple of breaths here. Again, you can use your hand on your chair or on the ground to support yourself if you like, or just let it hang down. And next inhale, we'll come back to the center. And then exhale and release. Hands to the thighs. Just normal cat-cow. So inhale, arch, exhale, rounding. Again, follow your own pace. A few more breath rounds. Great, and then let's come back to the center. We'll take the arms wide and elbows bent, elbows a little lower than the shoulders. Breathing in, drawing the elbows back and down. Good. And then exhale, closing the arms, the hands come together, maybe the elbows, let the head come down. And then take a breath in here as you hold this position. And then lifting, exhale back to that open position. Inhale here. Exhale, closing the arms, rounding the back. Staying here for an inhale. And exhale back to neutral, opening the arms. So inhale. We're moving on each exhale, staying stationary to feel the breath as we inhale. Moving on the exhale, and then staying to feel the breath on the inhale. One or two more. Right, make this the last one. And then next time you come to that open position, you can release the arms. Let the hands rest maybe on your thighs or in your lap or down to your sides, whatever's comfortable. Just pause for a moment. Let the breath return to normal. So no control of the breath now. So make a little space up in the upper part of the chest, the lungs come up in the teardrop shape, so the narrow end is up sort of under the collarbones. You can lift the shoulders up as if we're stretching the lungs up, breathing in. And then exhale. And you can even open your mouth on your exhale. If it feels right, release with a bit of sound or a sigh. Inhale, lift. A few more breaths. Good. And again, pause for a moment. Just tune into the feeling of the breath and maybe any other sensations that are available. So after doing a little more deep breathing, I feel a little lighter, a little tingly. Feel a little more space around the areas that I observed in the chest and the back and the sides. And that may be similar for you or maybe quite different for you. So I really invite you to tune in for what's true for you right now, letting go of any expectations. Right now, let's take a breath in and find a little lift in the heart. As you exhale, come back to a neutral spine. Let the chin come down towards the chest. Pause there for a couple of breaths. So try to keep the spine long. Just the chin down toward the chest. If you like, you can take the arms and draw them back. If you're on a chair, you can hold the chair or bring your hands towards each other or even clasp your hands behind you. Right, then releasing, take the arms out in front, bring the hands together in front of you, interlace your fingers and reach the hands away. Lift the heart, draw the shoulder blades down. And take a few breaths here into the sides and the back of your body. Good, and then lifting up. Take a few breaths here all around the upper chest, back, sides. And then releasing the hands, let them slowly, slowly come down. Right, arms can hang down or rest in your lap. We'll work a little bit with the neck now, the face and the eyes. So turning the head to one side. And look behind you as far as you can with your eyes. Right, and then slowly come back to the center and go the other way. And again, stretch the muscles in your eyes by looking all the way behind you. Right, come back to the center. We're going to keep the chin level with the ground, but look up, stretching the eyes to look up towards the ceiling without lifting the head. And then without dropping the head, look down toward the ground. See how far down you can see. Bring your eyes back to the central, back to center, back to neutral, and then turn to the side again. And you can look around behind you. And then we'll take the chin and slowly sweep it across the chest. You can follow with your eyes along the ground. Coming up to the other side, pausing for a moment to look behind, stretching the muscles of your eyes, and then letting the eyes follow your head. Down and around. So go side to side, go slowly, pause at each side to look in each direction, giving the muscles of your eyes a little stretch. Make this your last round, and then you'll come back to the center, chin down toward the chest. Again, lift the spine, draw the shoulders down and back, and then slowly lift the head so it comes back over your shoulders. Good. Let's bring the hands up to the shoulders, as long as that's comfortable for you. If not, hands can rest on the hips. So elbows a little lower than the shoulders, so there's no strain here. And we're going to slowly and gently turn to one side, letting the head turn with the body, and then come back to center and slowly and gently turn the other way. I'm going to encourage you to just breathe normally here so that you can move slowly. Feel that movement of the rib cage moving independently of the pelvis. So there's a little spiral in the rib cage, and think about that spiral as spiraling up and out towards the sky rather than down and in towards the ground. So each time you spiral, there's a feeling of a little lift. Right. And then coming to one side, we'll release the hands. The forward hand can rest on the thigh. The back hand can rest on the ground or the chair. And you're not putting a lot of pressure against your leg or the ground or chair. You're just placing your hands there and then using that awareness to think about lifting tall, looking back over your shoulder, not forcing the twist at all, and breathing into the constriction that the twist brings. So twists always give a feeling of constriction, like wringing us out. And we breathe into that constriction to find some space here. You can lift the arms all the way up and come around to the other side, keeping that feeling of lift, looking over your shoulder. And again, spiraling up and out rather than down and in. Returning to the center, lifting the arms all the way up. And we'll do a few forward bends here. So you can come forward over your legs. Exhale, let your head release down. And then inhale and come all the way up, keeping the arms soft, shoulders relaxed. And then exhale, come forward. Inhale and lift. And do a few more. Go at your own pace. Great. And then let's come back to the center. So you can release the arms down. And again, we're going to vary the breath. So you're only moving when you're exhaling, and we'll inhale when we're staying in each position. So a little bit different with the breath. So we're going to inhale here. Exhale and move. Might feel a little funny. Good. Inhale here. Exhale forward. Inhale here, feeling breath in the back body. Exhale and lift. Inhale here, breathing into the front body. Exhale forward. Inhale here into the back body. Exhale, lift. Inhale here. Exhale forward. One more, inhale into the back body. Exhale, lift. And inhale here. And exhale, arms down. Good. Again, pause for a moment. Let your breath return to normal. Again, anytime if you feel a little lightheaded or a little dizzy, just stop and breathe normally. And it would clear very quickly. So take a moment to notice the feeling in your head, your shoulders, your chest, front and back, the belly, lower back, all the areas we've been working so far. What are you aware of now? So we're going to come to stand up, and if you have a chair nearby, that may be helpful to use as support. If not, then we'll work it out without, no problem. coming to mountain pose. My assistant here on my mat with me. She's not that helpful actually. So coming into mountain pose, feeling your heels pressing down, crown lifting up. And see if you can be aware of any spaciousness or any sensations at all that you may have brought into that upper chest, back, sides of the body, that whole area where we use and feel the breath. So just notice that. And not to ignore our lower body, we'll do a little bit of movement to warm up the hips after sitting for a while. So you can take your feet a little bit apart, as much as is comfortable for you. Let the hands rest on your hips, soft knees, and we'll do a few circles and go really slowly. Really notice the sensations. You know, as I circle around, I feel a little bit more sensation in some parts of the circle, a little less in other parts. And that sensation will kind of move from hip to hip, so you can just really tune in. So building on last week's theme of tuning into the body, as we also tune into the breath this week. You can circle the other way as well. Right, and then let's come back to the center. So if you have a chair, you can face your chair. If not, you can do this by bringing your hands onto your thighs, or it could be a wall or couch or counter, whatever is handy. But we're going to come into a position, either knees bent, hands on the knees, or knees slightly bent, hands on your chair with your feet under your hips, and your hands under your shoulders if you're using a chair. And you want to make sure your knees are a little bit bent. We haven't stretched the legs at all, so we want to make sure that we're not overdoing it here. So soft knees, and then we'll lift the tail, lift the head, draw the shoulders back, chest forward, breathing in. And then as you exhale, round your back, press your hands down either into your thighs or into the chair to round. Take a breath in here, and then exhale, come back to that arch position. We'll inhale here. Exhale to round. So we're again varying the breath. Inhale in the rounded position. Exhale, move. If you find the breath confusing, just breathe however feels comfortable to you. So we're going to inhale as we're stationary. Exhale as you move, or whatever feels right for you. When we vary the breath, it brings a little more attention, but it can create a little more agitation if it's too many things to think about. So if you're following me, inhale when you're stationary. Exhale when you move. Great. Now, next time you come to the inhale position, the usual inhale position where you're arched, as I am now, either hands on the knees or hands on your chair, you're going to bend a little bit more and lift all the way up. Breathing in and exhaling to release the arms down. Right. With the feet a little bit apart again, we'll rotate the shoulders, alternating shoulders. So one shoulder comes in and rolls back, and then the other does the same. And just let your breath be normal here. Don't worry about how you're breathing as long as you're breathing. You can let the head roll a little if it feels good, just being cautious with your neck. And then try going the other direction as well. Wonderful. And then let's come back to the center. Right. So keeping the feet a little bit apart, again, we'll work with the side bend, opening up the sides of the body. So now standing, we get a little more anchoring down and a little more stretch up. So we're going to press down into the feet. You can lift one arm, keep it bent if you like, or straight up if that feels good, and then reaching to the side. Let's take a breath in here. Good. Exhale. And then come up with an inhale. Exhale to release. Inhale, other side. Exhale, come over. We're going to take a breath here. One inhale and one exhale. And then come up with an inhale. Release with an exhale. Again, first side coming up, breathing in. Exhale over. Inhale, reach. Exhale here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Remember, anytime I'm talking about the breath, you can ignore me. Inhale up and just breathe normally. Exhale to the side. Inhale, reach. Exhale here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Great. So from here, we'll do a forward bend again. It can be bringing your hands to the thighs or to the ground or whatever is comfortable for you, or to your chair if that's available and it works for you. So facing your chair or whatever you've got handy, we'll inhale and lift. Find that lift in the heart. Bend your knees as you come forward, releasing your body over your legs toward the chair or the floor, and then inhale and lift. Go at your own pace. Try to keep the spine nice and long as you're coming forward, legs strong, lifting with a long spine as you come up, which helps you to increase the strength of your back. And you keep that length as you lower and lift. And as you come even lower in that pose, the more the back is lengthened, the more you're going to feel the stretch in your hamstrings. That's why it's nice to have the chair or stop partway down so that you're not forced to round your back to accommodate tight hamstrings. Maybe one more here, and you can stay if you like. So it could be hands or elbows on your thighs or hands on the chair. Or here, if it feels good to you, you could let the back soften and round and come forward. Finding that forward bend that feels just right for you, whether you're braced against the chair or the floor, or your knees, or just letting your body hang there. When you're ready to come up, soft knees again, coming all the way up with a big breath in. And then exhaling to release. Coming back to mountain pose. Feet parallel to one another, a distance apart. Heels sinking down. And again, I invite you to bring your awareness to this area that we've been focused on today, the shoulders, the upper chest, upper back, the belly, the waist, the lower back. And just notice what's present. And you may not feel anything unusual or anything different, and that's fine. It's not about having any particular answer. The point is actually just to check in and be present. From here, let's take the feet wide again. If you're using a chair, you can have the chair to one side, either the seat or the top of the chair. We're going to be doing a side bend, maybe bracing against the body, maybe against the chair. And then you're going to turn the foot, if you're using a chair, the one that's closest to the chair, you're going to turn it toward the chair. If you're not using a chair, either foot will do. You can bend that knee slightly so the knee lines up over the ankle, and then take the arms out to the sides. So without pushing the hip out to the side, I'm going to reach the torso a little bit to the side towards the foot that you've turned out. And then the hand can come down to rest on your thigh, can come to your chair. You could bring your elbow to your thigh, whatever works for you. And other arm reaching up. Now the idea here is shoulders are stacked one over the other. If it's uncomfortable for this upper shoulder, a nice alternative is to bring the hand behind the back and let the palm face back behind you. And we want to think about this upper shoulder moving back a little to create some space and opening in the side. So I feel it right down into my hip on this side. You might not, but you're going to breathe into that whole space in the side of your body. If it feels like too much, just come up anytime. And if your neck feels strained at all, I invite you to look down or look forward or whatever releases the neck. A couple more breaths into that long side. If you want a little more stretch, the arm is up or even overhead a little. For me, that gives a lot more stretch. So really tune it, fine tune it to your body. Okay, when you're ready, slowly come on up. And turn your feet parallel again, release the arms. Bring your feet in so that they're under your hips. And again, pause for a moment. See if you can feel a difference in the feeling of expansion and space on the side that you stretch versus the other side. So you may or may not notice any difference, or it may be quite a pronounced difference. And right now my body is really wanting to even things up. So I'm going to do the other side. So if you're using a chair, you can just turn around or move it to the other side. And then feet a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart. You're going to turn your foot, if you're using a chair, toward the chair. The back foot, you're just going to find the angle that is comfortable for you. So it could turn in slightly, it could stay straight, or even for some people turned out is comfortable. You can bend the knees, so it's just over the ankle. Arms to the sides. Again, without pushing the hip back, we're going to reach the torso over. And then hand comes down to the thigh or the chair, or again, it could be elbow on your thigh. The other arm either reaching up or coming behind your back if that's more comfortable for your shoulder. Or again, reaching further overhead. And if you're reaching further overhead, you want to start to turn your arms so the palm faces the ground. And that puts your shoulder in a nice rotation here. Breathing into that long side. Again, if it's too much, bring the arm back behind your body or come upright anytime. Check in with your neck if it's uncomfortable. See if you can relax a little and allow a little more ease in your neck. Great, and then let's come all the way up slowly. You can straighten the leg, turn your feet parallel, bring your arms down, step your feet in towards each other. And again, we'll pause for a moment and tune in. Notice what you feel on this side now. Do you feel a little more even on both sides? Are you feeling more on the side we just did? Perhaps there's some imbalance in your body that you're aware of and you feel it differently on different sides. You're just tuning in and noticing. Great. And then to bring things back to evenness, we'll do another forward bend. So you can, again, either do this by bringing your hands to the thighs or to the chair or whatever's comfortable for you. So take a breath in, lifting up. Bending your knees as you come forward, long spine. And then continue at your own pace. So you'll come up with the breath in, lift a little through the heart, and then exhale, release fully forward. Do a few more at your own pace. And again, if you like, you can stay in the forward bend for a few breaths. Any variation or version that feels good for you. Just try to make sure that you're letting your neck release. If you have high blood pressure or any other pressure issues, you want to keep your head above your heart. And I outlined this in the welcome video a few weeks ago as one of the sort of overall cautions. Otherwise, you can just let your body hang in whatever way is comfortable. And then when you're ready, again, we'll come all the way up, breathing in. And exhaling to release down. Wonderful. One more moment here, just tuning in and feeling your body, noticing one side, the other side. Do you feel more even now? Do you still feel a difference one side to the other? And what are you aware of in this whole area we've been focusing on, from shoulders all the way down to the pelvis? What are you aware of in terms of the movement of your breath, the spaciousness? Again, no right or wrong answer. It's all about being present. So when you're ready, we're going to make our way down onto the mat. All right, you. Here you go. Go to bed. Come on, not forget. Not forget. Here you go. All right, so coming to lie down on your mat. Lying down on your back. Go ahead and get comfortable there. And you maybe guessed that we'll start here by tuning into the breath. So you can bring your hands onto your body. One lower, one higher, doesn't really matter wherever they comfortably rest. Try and keep your elbows on the ground so there's no effort for your shoulders. You're tuning into the feeling and the rhythm of your breath. There's nothing you need to do here, no need to change your breath in any way. You're simply with the breath now. Now taking the arms down to your sides, palms can face the ground. You'll take a breath in and raise the arms up over your head. And then as you exhale, bring the arms back down to your sides. So this action follows the natural movement of your breath. As you inhale, the arms raise, the back is going to naturally arch. You can pause anywhere. You don't have to go all the way to the ground and then back down. You'll feel your back settle into the ground most likely as you bring the arms down. So inhale, stretching the whole torso. Exhale, coming down. We're going to start to alternate bringing knees to chest now. So you'll inhale and reach up. And as you exhale, one knee comes in. Hands can reach over or behind the knee to gently draw it in. And then that comes down as you inhale and reach up. And then exhale, other side. If it's more comfortable for your shoulders, bend your arms or take them to the sides rather than overhead. Continue at your own pace. A few more rounds. Keeping the back a little lengthening, stretch after standing and sitting. All right, maybe one more on each side. If you remember which side you started with, you can end with the opposite side. And then when you're done with the legs, the arms come back down alongside your body. And then we'll bring both knees in toward the chest. And you can let one hand rest on each knee. And we're really going to use the breath here. So we always coordinate the breath with this movement, but we're going to really use the breath to initiate the movement here. So if you've got your knees in close to your body, as you start to breathe in, feel how the breath can almost push the legs away. And when you start to feel that little bit of movement, you can follow up with your arms, letting the arms straighten. And then as you exhale, you feel the belly move toward the spine. Exaggerate that movement and the knees start to move in, drawing in. So let the breath initiate the movement. Inhale. When you feel the knees start to move away, follow with your hand. And then begin to exhale. And then draw the knees with the exhale towards you. So the breath initiates the movement. And then you follow by drawing the knees in or sending them away. If this movement feels good, you can stay with this movement. Or if you want to switch it up, you can stretch the legs up now, arms either to the sides or overhead. Breathing in here. And then again, the breath initiates the movement. You start to exhale and then the knees come in. Start to inhale. And then the body expands. If you need to take extra breaths, please do. So don't run out of breath or strain the breath. You can take 2 breaths to do each movement if that feels better for you. Okay, wherever you're at, next time your knees are in toward your chest, pause there. Take the hands, slide them down so the elbows are on the ground, hands on the outer legs. Let the knees open a little bit and we'll rock side to side, letting the body rock, using the hands to support. I hope it feels better for you. You can hold the knees in and rock. I like this nice relaxed position, the arms on the ground personally, but we're all different, so find the way that feels good to you. And then let's come back to the center. You can let your feet come down to the ground. So here, I encourage you to lift the arms up to a position that feels comfortable, like a comfortable stretch in the shoulders and the upper arms and the chest. But you want to make sure your elbows are on the ground and the backs of your hands are on the ground. So that might be lower for you. If it's still comfortable, a little higher is fine too. But you really want to be relaxed, arms on the ground fully. And then you can slowly let the knees release the opposite or in one direction. And noticing the stretch across the opposite shoulder and arm, chest, and then come back to center. And go the other way. So at first, don't worry at all about your breathing. Just make sure your breathing moves slowly and really tune in. So if you notice that it's uncomfortable on your shoulder, bring your arms down a little more. If you notice that you want more stretch, raise the arms up a little. And you may find that one arm is a little higher, one arm is lower, depending on what you notice and how you adjust as you go. Take your time. If you want to coordinate now with your breathing, you can do the breath that we've been interspersing through the class, where we only move on the exhale and stay for the inhale. So you go to the side, stay there and inhale, feel the stretch, and then exhale back to center. Come to center, stay there and inhale. Move to the side as you exhale, stay there and inhale, feel the stretch. So exhaling while you're moving, inhaling while you're stationary, or any other breath pattern that you prefer. So when I suggest breath patterns and movements with the breath, it is always, always, always optional. For some people that feels really good and support the practice, and for others it's super agitating. It's too many things to think about. The breath may not follow the movement naturally. When you feel complete with this movement, and if you like, you can stay a few breaths each side, whatever feels good for you. So take your time. When you feel like the twisting is complete, you can come back to center and repeat any of the movements that we did with knees to chest. So knees apart, rocking side to side, knees moving forward and back, or legs and arms stretching out and back in. So find movement or a combination of movements that help you to feel balanced again, to feel length and release in your low back. Lovely. So we're going to move next into Shavasana. So when you're ready, if there's other movements you want to do first, feel free. If you want to get a blanket or any other props to support yourself so that you're comfortable, feel free to do that as well. And if you like to sit for Shavasana, that is also a wonderful and viable option also. Taking your time to get cozy and comfortable, make sure that you are nice and warm and that your body feels like it's well supported. And then again, as you settle, I invite you to tune into your breath. The breath as it is, no altering at all. See if you can feel where your breath moves. Not trying to move it anywhere in particular. Noticing the breath on its own journey. See if you can relax your jaw, your mouth, your tongue. Relax your throat. Relaxing all around your face. Sinuses relaxing under and over your eyes. And relaxing all around your eyes, softening the muscles of your eyes and letting them relax. See if you can feel and be aware of the breath moving in your nostrils, in your sinuses, down into your throat. Aware perhaps of that very gentle expansion and release of the breath all around your face, your head, your throat. If you don't feel much, just notice the breath as it is, coming and going. Let the weight of your head sink down. And start to bring your awareness down to your shoulders. Be aware of any natural movement of your breath in your shoulders without forcing it or trying to change it in any way. Maybe even feel what your arms do as you breathe. Is there any perception of movement in your arms? Maybe just your shoulders or upper arms, maybe not at all. Really relax your arms, your hands, let them go. And awareness around the chest, heart area. Noticing any feeling of movement with your breath around the heart. Could be in the front, the back, and or the sides of the body. And dropping your awareness down lower in the torso to the belly and lower back, and noticing any movement, any sensation associated with the breath in this area of your body. Soften the muscles around your belly and lower back as much as you feel good with, as much as is comfortable. Softening down into the area of your pelvis. You might or might not feel a little bit of movement with your breath down in the lower belly, pelvic floor area. You might not. So I invite you to tune in and see what's present, if anything. Relaxing your buttocks, relaxing your thighs. Softening your knees, calves, ankles, and feet. Tuning into any rhythm or feeling or flow in your legs now. You may not feel actual movement of the breath, but you may feel energy. Being present with what is, not trying to manipulate your experience. Being fully present in this moment as much as possible. Watching the breath, being curious, being interested in where it moves, how it moves, what your experience of your breath is. Last week, we brought lots of awareness to sensation in the body. This week, marrying that focus with the breath. And when we become present, when we're really with ourselves and the actual things that are happening moment to moment, there's a kind of clearing that happens, a clearing of the debris of our minds as we come into this focus. And the sutras, the yoga philosophy, and the Vedic philosophy that predates the sutras tells us that when we clear ourselves and focus on the present moment, we uncover the veils of our inner light. And the chant today talks about this focus on the breath, focus on the body, and how it brings us into a beingness of light, expansion, and ease. And if that's not your experience today, just notice that with care and compassion. Annamaya me shutyantam jyotiraham viraja vipapma bhuya sadgasvaha. Pranamaya me shudhyantam jyotiraham viraja vipapma bhuya Swaha. Taking a moment now, if it feels comfortable to you, to deepen the breath a little bit, fill up that space that we've created in practice, not straining or forcing, just gently filling that space comfortably full and then releasing, letting the breath go as completely as possible. And if you want to stay a little longer in Shavasana, you can mute or just leave the meeting if you want to. If you're ready to get on with a little movement and move into your day, you can start to bring in some movement. Start with your extremities, fingers and toes, ankles and the wrists, gradually making those movements a little bigger as you feel ready. Re-inhabiting your body. And eventually, maybe rolling onto your side, taking your time to transition. If you've been lying down, to come back to seated. Again, that's a choice. If you want to stay lying down, you're more than welcome. Bring your palms together. So our breath is always with us, whether we're conscious of it or not. The breath is always moving, except for those brief moments where we might hold the breath unconsciously or consciously. But we can also use the breath to bring greater spaciousness, greater sense of ease, greater sense of energy and vitality into our systems. So when we lift the heart and breathe as deeply and fully as we can, inviting energy and space into the body, but never forcing or straining the breath. So when you feel a little bit low energy today or this week, you can try just breathing into all that space and really bringing your attention to the breath and see what happens, see what magic transforms. Namaste. Enjoy your day.